Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Queen is Dead. I am Sanjeet. I have Dhruv with me, and we're meeting after a very long time.
Not
And you
really,
have,
but okay.
yeah, I mean, but we have a very special guest with us, someone who's famous on quote unquote Filmstagram. You may know him by his Instagram handle, the Bong Cinephile, and he's popularly also known as Simon Ezra. Simon, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, myself Simon. You might know my Instagram page also, and I'm a very big fan of this podcast to be honest. And I'm very glad to be appearing on this podcast. So thank you for having me.
Thank
It's
you for joining.
our pleasure.
But the first thing associated Bong with was not Bengali. It was something else completely.
I mean, that speaks to the mind itself, right? Whoever thinks it is like the person.
No, that was like the first instinct. I was like, oh, okay, because no, I've encountered like a lot of people on Letterbox itself who are indulged in other activities other than watching films. So I was
But
like,
you
oh,
find
okay.
those indulgent activities, right? So it's you.
No, it's not me. I found those people who do it. So I was like observing from
But
far
you
away.
found them. They didn't like come to you.
Yeah, they didn't come to me.
Yeah. So we've
I
proven
realized that
something here.
I realized that Bong was something else after joining Instagram. I was like, okay, it means something else. Bong basically is Bengali.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I
yeah.
mean, but that was not my first instinct.
Of course, it wasn't Sanjeev. What can we expect from you?
Oh, wow. So we are playing degrading game.
You are the
Okay,
one who
no.
watches me, so it's fine. It's not my fault. Anyways, go ahead.
Anyways,
There's a
yeah,
lot to cover today, right?
lot to cover today. There's lots to talk about. We have a very good Q&A session that hopefully should be good enough. Okay, so we'll just jump into the Q&A. Yeah,
Let's go for it. Yeah. I have
yeah,
the questions here. One of the
yeah,
names, so the first question, and the name isn't properly visible, unfortunately, but it's Saket Gopalakrishnan, I think.
yeah.
The question is themes, or like the statement is themes that Titane, Simon's favorite film of the year, if I'm not wrong,
Hmm.
dealt with. So he wants to us to talk about the main themes of that film. So
Hmm.
we can go ahead. What Simon, go ahead. You take it over, considering you it is your favorite film of the year also.
If main themes is concerned, then I guess love and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
If the main theme of Titan is concerned, then I'm it's basically love and compassion
yeah,
beyond
Hmm.
humanity. Like
yeah.
the
Hmm.
main character. Sorry for spoiling the film, but I had to. The main character is
Go for it.
transforming herself from a human to a mechanical, something mechanical. So
Yeah,
we see her
Hmm.
her compassion towards it's like love beyond I can't explain it properly, but it's like love beyond humanity in some cases. Like
yeah.
it isn't like an non-living thing object,
Mm-hmm.
non-living thing can also be fallen in love with a living object.
Yeah,
Like
Hmm.
love isn't only limited to a living organism; it can go
yeah,
beyond that. So that was the main theme behind it, and then we have the gender roles, gender fluidity.
yeah,
Yeah.
How Julia completely blurs the line between them.
yeah,
That's also a
Absolutely.
main theme you can say.
That
yeah,
was probably for me my favorite part of the film. Like
Uh,
yeah.
how it becomes completely distorted between who Julia really is as a person, as well as the whole
mm,
gender thing that was whole actually
mm.
going on. So that
Yeah.
Uh,
was my favorite part of the film. I mean, we
mm,
I think we wanted to talk about it in October as well when Dhruv and Arijit had watched it, and I didn't watch it at that point. I watched it probably like 15, 20 days later, and then I was like
In the
actually blown
cinema,
away by it in the
right?
cinema,
Yeah,
and I was actually blown away by it.
yeah.
But
Another
the
thing in Titan I
hmm,
would like to mention is that fire truck dance, that
Mm-hmm.
Wayfaring Stranger song. That sequence was very good. Like
Yep.
everyone was thinking that Adrian is a boy, so he will dance very masculine in a very
right.
masculine way.
Yep.
But he starts dancing very seductively,
Yep.
and the whole crew members were shocked.
Yep.
Like how a boy can dance like this.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were very homophobic in a sense.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
calling him that
Yeah.
word. And also before that, another, like, I made a post by,
Yeah. No, promote. Don't
Promote,
know.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
no, yeah.
like I have highlighted in that also.
Yeah.
There was another scene where the firefighters were dancing very compassionately.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like that kind of compassion isn't always in the forefront. It
Yeah.
comes very privately. They are dancing like they have something in them, but
Yeah.
no, they have just friendship.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, go, Sanjit.
No,
I'll
no, no. You add. It's okay.
quickly go ahead because we have so many questions today.
Hmm.
So no, I've again, whatever you guys have said, I'm with you in whatever you guys love about the film, and I think I have
Hmm.
like minor complaints. I really want to rewatch the film actually, just for the first half, and if it works. But thematically, it is a lot to do with gender fluidity,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I think to me, it's basically what Simon said about normal or like human kindness, or like the fact that you can. It doesn't matter what or who you are, and it's
Yeah.
fine
Hmm.
for people who are genuinely and truly loving and compassionate. Any sort of societal tag doesn't matter. Man,
Hmm.
Hmm.
woman,
Yes.
human, not human, machine, whatever. Anything,
Hmm.
nothing matters because
Hmm.
the images of the film kind of keep on reinforcing the fact that you have these people or whatever Juliet O'Connor, the director, is trying to do is break through these barriers and reach for
Hmm.
something that's genuinely transcendent, I think. And I mean, that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
very admirable. I think there's
Hmm.
like problems in terms of how she kind of fits these around in terms of like genre hopping and all that. But like apart from that, the themes and all came across super well to me
Yeah, yeah,
when I
yeah.
watched it. Yeah. So that is it. We wrapped it up pretty quickly. This
Yeah,
question.
Titan.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly, huh?
Yeah. So the next question is by Kep Limited. These two questions for us. So for the first question is obscure films that people should know about. Go ahead.
Hmm.
Sanjeet, you go first.
But
Then you.
obscure films like
What does obscure mean?
anything. No, no, no. I mean, from when? Like, can be anything. I don't know. Isn't it
Yeah,
too
yeah.
vast a question though?
But just throw some
I
out.
don't know obscure films. You've seen more obscure stuff than I have. You go ahead. It's okay.
So nicely you've thrown it at me now. I'll have to think.
Uh,
Uh, I mean, there's a lot of obscure films, I say, but like, I guess lesser seen films is
hmm.
the sort of. I recommended this to I think Simon recently. Foxtrot by Samuel Moaz or Maoz. I don't know how to pronounce the second. It's like an
Hmm.
Israeli film that was
Hmm.
submitted for like Oscar nominations but didn't get through. I think this was in 2017, 2018. It's a
Hmm.
fantastic film, like especially people who really like sort of war dramas or war films like that. I think it's got a really interesting structure to it. Like it's got a very defined 3 act structure, but it's like it kind of plays around with that really
Hmm.
well. And it's about this family trying to get over the grief of their child's loss, but they kind of realize that the child might not actually be dead. So it's about
Hmm.
their point of view, his point of view, and then how kind of they intermingle
Hmm.
after like that. So that's one sort of obscure film, I guess. I wanted to recommend. There's others we've already mentioned in like previous episodes, which I don't want to repeat, like La Casa Lobo and
Oh yeah, La
others. So
Casa
just
Lobo.
so just watch those. That film is going to be a cult classic. I can guarantee.
What, La Casa Lobo?
Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah, Simon, you go ahead. I think there's a lag in audio.
Can I recommend three films?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go
Go,
ahead.
go, go, go.
Um, so my first recommendation would be this Soviet film called The Color of Pomegranates by
Oh yeah,
Sergei Parajanov.
Parajanov.
Yep,
Yeah.
This this is my this is a this is my favorite film. Like I'm
yep.
recommending now. It's
Mm-hmm,
about
Hmm.
a Armenian troubadour who was
mm-hmm,
like beheaded because he didn't accept Christianity.
Okay.
That's why he was killed.
mm-hmm.
So the story goes, there is no story basically. Parajanov just took out bits and pieces of his poems, Sayat Nova's poems, and
Yeah.
visualized and binded them some sort of narrative.
Yeah.
He tried to give a narrative, and it's a very avant-garde film. Like no camera
Mm.
movement, nothing. There are like one actress is there, Sofiko Chiroli, who plays 6 to 7 characters, both male and female.
Hmm.
There
Okay.
are symbolisms
Wow.
in that you have to rewatch multiple times. I myself watched like 6 times, like this much. This is my first recommendation. I recommend it to
Yep.
everyone basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I have this Czech film called Valery and a Week of Wonder by Jaromil
Okay.
Yeresh.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
the first, perhaps the last film of Czech New Wave. It concerns with a teenage girl, Valery, who just starts experiencing womanhood.
Mhm.
And the moment when she experiences that she is not a girl anymore, she's transforming into a woman.
Yeah.
That scene is very delicate. Like it's very beautifully done. We see a
Got it.
flower, and then there are some symbolisms in that.
Okay.
We have
Got it.
vampires, we have some erotic scenes, and there is one
Yeah.
problematic scene regarding the child,
Yeah.
but it can be passed on, I guess.
Yeah.
This is my second, and another and very beautiful visuals.
Yeah.
It's almost arresting, and the soundtrack, everything is very beautiful in this film.
Yeah.
The last is this Bengali film I have. Rest is personal.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh yeah, you've recommended to me.
Not as obscure to the Bengali listeners, but
Mhm.
it's very obscure to all of us. That's because this film basically is about a documentary filmmaker
Mhm.
who is a failure
Hmm.
in finding love. He
Okay.
can't find love, so he visits a Jyotish, like a palmist, and
Yeah.
he advises him to go to this village where if you
Mhm.
go there, you will find your soulmate and you will fall in love.
Okay.
So he
Sounds
Hmm.
goes there,
lovely.
and this film like blurs the line between reality and fiction
Okay.
brilliantly.
Okay.
Its ending will is very impactful. The ending
Got
scene,
it. Anywhere to watch this? Like
YouTube.
rest is
It's
personal?
YouTube.
available on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Oh, okay. I will.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds very interesting.
It's on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful film.
Yeah.
Like also
Yeah.
the casting is brilliant,
Yeah.
and everything is very organic. Like there's nothing too staged in this film.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Got it.
It's a
Hmm. Hmm.
brilliant film.
Got it. Mr.
Um.
Highly
Sanjeet, go
recommended.
ahead.
So I haven't seen as many obscure films as you guys
I
have.
mean,
So
it is obscure
I'll
that
say
you've
something
seen.
what Simon provided me the film with. The
Yeah.
film is Anne Ghode Da Daan. Have I ever recommended
Hmm.
it this though? No,
No,
right?
you haven't. No, no.
No, yeah. So you can definitely check that film out, Anne Ghode Da Daan.
Hmm.
So it's a Punjabi film. It's set
Hmm.
in like a small village in Punjab. It's actually not just in that small village, but it goes beyond. But that film is so good in terms of how it looks at a social life
Mhm.
through like a very distant gaze, because it isn't um, something that you go and get involved in. It's like you're observing them.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a very good film about this one, like the Dalits that are living in Punjab.
Mhm.
I mean, they aren't specified as Dalits in a way, but the way you see them, you'll obviously get to know where they
Mhm.
belong to in a social um, strata. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's a Punjabi film, so
Yeah.
you don't really associate Punjabi language or Punjabi cinema with subtle art house, right?
Got it. Yeah.
But this is one film. There's another one by the same director, Gurvinder Singh. It's known as Chauthi Koot, which I haven't seen though. But the director was the protege of Mani Kaul, who most
Hmm.
people know as like one of the art house auteurs in India. So yeah,
Okay.
that is my recommendation. Yeah.
Okay. So this kind of links. So Kept Limited asked the second question: must-watch films under the Czech New Wave scene,
Hmm.
which kind of links with whatever Simon said. One of his recommendations was from that. I personally haven't watched much Czech New Wave. I think Milos
Forman,
Forman
yeah.
is from the Czech New Wave. Am I
Yes,
if
yes,
Yeah.
I'm
yes. He
not?
started the movement with
He
the
start
other two
okay.
directors.
Okay. I've only seen Loves of a Blonde. I think that's the only film I've seen, and I really like that film.
That new wave, I guess we will be discussing in our main.
Okay, so we'll have that discussion later in the podcast itself. So we'll get to
Yeah.
answer Cap Limited's question there. Okay, perfect.
Hmm.
Next question is from Tales from the Kino. Will cinema as an art form
Kino.
ever become mainstream again?
I don't think so. So I can talk with respect to India, which I have more knowledge about rather than other places.
Yeah.
But I feel the quote unquote art house cinema is on the decline and has been for the last 3, 4 years.
Hey, but they are asking, will cinema as an art form ever become mainstream again?
Art form. I mean, art
As in,
form.
I guess they mean that cinema as an art form means what, like 70s American cinema? Will like films like, I guess, I don't know what.
Okay, I misread the question. Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, will
Misheard the question.
cinema as an art form ever become mainstream again? I think they mean that superhero movies have become like the mainstream of as cinema, but like cinema by cinema, I think they mean like a Scorsese film, I guess. Will those become mainstream again? I
Hmm.
guess that's what I get from the question.
What do you think, Dhruv, about this?
What is this? Every like last time also you just
No,
like said
I'll tell you why am I pointing it at you. I'll tell you.
tell.
Take the most recent example of West Side Story, which is by
Yep,
Steven Spielberg, right?
yep,
It has like 100 million riding on it,
yep,
right? That's a lot of money.
yep,
Right?
yep.
And if now here is why I always preach and advocate for cinema viewing more than your other viewing, is because if we don't go and watch films made by Spielberg,
Hmm.
he'll go into the same category as Scorsese has gone. He
Yep,
didn't get funding for Irishman from Paramount, and he had to go to Netflix. I'm giving
yep,
more mainstream examples purely because I
yep,
think they are more common and people get to know about them very easily, and it reaches out to more people.
yep.
Then this is why I've been pushing the theater agenda, is purely because if we don't watch their films in theater, they'll resort to um, Netflix and all of those film
Hmm.
streaming sites, and they'll become more obscure in terms, because there is so much stuff on these streaming platforms. They aren't curated either, except
Hmm.
if it's like a Criterion or a movie.
Yeah.
So that
Sponsors.
they get lost. Yeah, Criterion's
Nice.
movie, please sponsor. But this is why I've been advocating the whole theater thing,
Fine.
purely
You make
because
a
if
you make you make a good point, Sanjeev. I
yeah,
have to
because
unfortunately agree with you here. Uh,
yeah,
no,
but
it's
then
true.
go
It's
ahead, yeah.
true though. No, it is true. I think that that sort of, and I'm not necessarily dissing superhero films as such because I'm fond
Yeah.
of some of them quite a bit. But like, it is true that there is like this aesthetic deprivation in mainstream cinema. Like it's just like one
Yep.
form is there, and like film has become a sort of medium in which you can just convey information, show action. Like there is that
Social cause.
art form of like sort of making a film, I think is kind of, and I don't see it coming honestly in the mainstream
Yeah, me
again.
neither.
There's less signs of it, I think. What
What
do you
about
think,
you,
Simon?
Simon? Yeah.
Art form, that same superhero thing.
Yeah,
Means
Hmm.
people are more inclined to watching those repetitive films. Like they don't want to branch out.
yeah,
They don't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
get out of the comfort zone.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like if they are fine with superhero films, they will watch it.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like
I
nobody will
think,
watch West Side Story. Like if Spider-Man is screening beside that, everyone
yeah,
will go for Spider-Man.
Exactly.
No one
And
will
yeah,
go for West Side Story. This is a case.
yeah.
yeah.
Most
No,
of them will know. Will
yeah,
So I mean, look at this. I look at it in a sense as in the biggest sell for the upcoming Spider-Man movie, and I'm just taking this medium to like convey what I've been feeling for the last whatever so many months. People have theorized the heck out of that movie, okay,
yeah,
and as soon as the film is going to come out, there's going to be a backlash because it's not going to live up to their expectations.
or to what they
Yes.
want it to be, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So and so here's what I also dislike. Why?
Hmm.
I mean, people have become so comfortable, and it's also the herd mentality that's been going on,
Yeah.
that they have to. I mean, okay, I get people wouldn't sit down and watch like a 60s film, let alone a 30s film. Like, I understand people won't make an effort to watch a 60s film, and that's
Hmm.
understandable. But if a good film is at a theater near you,
Hmm.
or let's say on your streaming platform, I don't disagree with watching good films on your streaming either.
Hmm.
Watch it. Don't just watch those Netflix rom-coms that have dominated the. I mean, how many Kissing Booth films have come out? Kissing Booth 69? I don't know.
See,
But
Sanjeet, your mind is somewhere else today.
no, I'm irritated. I'm irritated more than anything else. I'm just irritated by the fact that people, although they don't make an effort to watch earlier cinema, at least they can make an effort to watch what is good and in cinema right now.
Yeah.
Don't look at like Rotten Tomatoes as your, or IMDb as your
I
as
mean,
your
yes,
judging
measuring stone.
scale,
yeah.
measuring stone. But just
Hmm.
watch whatever is good. Something may appeal to you other than those superhero movies. I mean, I get people watch movies once in a while, but even a West Side Story could be your once in a while mainstream film. It is as mainstream as it gets.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
just to self-plug one of our episodes, we
yeah.
talked about this in the Eternals episode, me and Aryan did, about the
Okay.
fact that people like the fact that you know what is going to happen. I don't think people
Yeah, yeah.
really are in the mood for like, experimentation, unpredictability. I guess you can like say that that's also because of the times we are living in. I guess that's the excuse one can provide in
Yeah.
the
I
sense
mean,
that, unpredictable times. So everyone wants like cinema to be like a safety net. So yeah, that's
hmm,
the
Regarding
excuse. Yeah,
regarding the Spider-Man trailer you were talking about,
yeah.
yeah.
I know someone who watched the trailer at 0.5x speed to get
To
the
to
details out of
analyze.
the trailer. To
But
get the
that's the
details.
culture, though. That's the culture. I think that's
I mean,
Uh,
but
the
shouldn't you actively also take part in not moving ahead with them and trying to forge your own identity as well?
yes,
who wants to create their own identity, though, Sanjeev? Now, like, firstly, it's
True.
impossible to create, though. I think, in a way,
No,
like because of
I
so much
mean,
information, right?
hmm,
Like, how do you
yeah.
create your identity once, especially if we are on social media, right? And you have started, and I've started becoming more
hmm,
sort of active than
Yeah,
like
yeah,
in
yeah.
a while back. It's just so many opinions are there that it's like it's hard to sometimes keep a semblance of what you think, because
Hmm.
it's so
hmm.
influenced that I think
Hmm.
everything's the ease of accessibility kind of kills the need to like
Ease
create
of
a
accessibility.
yeah,
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 yeah. I think
yeah,
that is the star killer.
yeah.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
I
Star
mean,
Killer. I thought you were making some Star Wars reference. Like Star,
no, no,
what
no,
was that thingy that
no, no.
Death Star?
Death
Yeah,
Star. No,
so
no, no.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
was saying something else, but whatever.
Never mind. Okay. Should we move on to the next
Yeah,
question? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So this is from Murali Lal LGENZ. I'm not going to pronounce everything like that.
Okay, yeah.
How long would it take? This kind of links to the question we have right now itself. How long would it take for the Indian masses to appreciate and encourage Indian art house films? As long as I
Hmm.
think time lasts, which means never.
No, I really feel. So I'm not saying this is an ideal case situation that I'm going to point out.
Yeah.
Uh, I think you people ideally actively need to add the whole art form as like a curriculum. I feel like how
Hmm.
there is. I mean, we don't even have sex education yet, but I mean, I'm just trying to put forward the fact that until we get to that point, there should be some push as a fact to form an artistic opinion as well. There's how many of you guys even studied art in your schools? Like
But
barely
it's looked
until
down
class
upon, no,
fifth.
in
It's looked
Asia.
down upon. Exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah, there has to be actively put forward by people to appreciate that first of all.
Yeah.
But you guys go ahead. I'm too much of talking.
No, it's not off topic. It's true though. Like I think I am much more pessimistic about this. I think just I don't think people care,
Hmm.
honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
First of
I
all,
don't think, yeah, they don't have the time, I think, and then they don't
Hmm.
also when they have it.
the
So for
mentality
me, it's that, yeah.
of Indians is that
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the mentality of Indians is that films are only for entertainment.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You go there, you watch anything, someone lifting a bike with their own, either with one
Hmm.
hand. You just go there, you have laughs, and then
Hmm.
you come.
Yeah.
You eat popcorn. That's it. That's film for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, it's not an art form basically. It's
Yeah.
just like entertainment.
Yeah.
No,
Both
but
anybody can do.
even Mani Ratnam makes entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
All I'm trying to say is entertainment can be done well,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, whoever is going to make a masala film, make a good masala film, and we'll all
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Nobody is there to diss any film. We are all like, at least all of us are there to enjoy films, even though we disagree with a lot of things. But if a film entertains you in any way possible,
Yeah.
like even if like,
But do
well,
it well, though, right?
yeah,
I
do it
think
well. That's
the
the
problem is, I think the entertainment
Hmm.
films nowadays kind of masquerade themselves as like masala films, but are actually very lazy films. Like they don't actually
Yes.
know how to sort of create character movement, development. Like all that is kind of thrown out of the window. It's just like because we are popular films, we'll just do it because we can, kind of
They
like that.
won't consider those things while writing anything about while writing a screenplay. I think so.
Yeah.
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 The
Got it.
I
character
mean, so
development, I don't think they have their intent in mind. They're
actually, and
always like show
to
the
be very
act
honest,
and
to be
just
very honest, I'm
do some
sorry for
action
interrupting.
sequence and then khatam, end it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but there is also the fact
Hmm.
that the making of a film has degraded in a sense.
Hmm.
Like how it is supposed to be done in sort of an organic way. It's an art form, right? You all of and it's not like an individual art form, like it's a dance or a singing art form, right? It's like
Yeah.
a lot of people who combine to get to make something, right? And
Yeah.
for a lot of them, it's a job as well. But what you're actually going to do isn't supposed to be mechanical. It is supposed to be something all of us are getting combined to make something good. I mean, you have to give in your heart and soul, and everything has to be done in a way.
Yeah.
But the making of it is also become sort of so mechanical, like it's people pleasing more than, you know, I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say.
No, no,
Uh,
it's what you are saying makes
yeah,
sense in that sense. Though, like it's just people pleasing almost, right? It's just the sense that you want to appeal to like the largest amount of
largest amount
people
of people, even
in
people
your opinion.
who are working in your film, you want to please them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you guys can say it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've more or less kind of like I think it's strongly linked with whatever we were talking about before in the last question. I think just the fact
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
it's the people want. I think people need to also start taking it on themselves. I think this whole culture of being like the makers themselves are bad. It's not like
Hmm.
a one-way street. You also consume a certain art form,
Exactly,
right? Like
exactly.
why
Yeah,
see again, I hate like this movie's kind of become like a punching bag for us this year, but like Shesha is like a very prototypical example, I think, right? Because
exactly. Yeah,
that's the sort of prototypical example, I think, which kind of proves what the
yeah.
public wants and like what is produced. I
It's
think
a social experiment only in a way.
it is also, I mean, for us it is because we don't like the
Yeah.
film, but but I guess yeah, it's that I think we've covered it in a lot of our episodes before also, so there's no
Yeah,
like
yeah,
point in sort of beating a dead horse, sort of like that. Anyways, so next question, should I move on to?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, anyone has anything else to
Simon,
add
do
to
you want to
the?
say something more?
No,
Okay.
I will just completely bash this mainstream industry. I won't.
So the next question is from Kino.irony.
Hmm,
How does one judge the editing and cinematography of a film?
hmm.
Take it away, the technical person first, which
No, no,
is
no. You guys go first. You guys go first. It's okay. I've been talking
okay.
a lot.
Simon, go first, please.
Hmm,
Editing is the hardest part for me to judge. I don't even
Mhm,
touch
hmm,
editing if
mhm.
it's not that clear in a film. Like in
Yeah,
some
hmm,
films, it's clear. Like in the film Easy Rider, the editing is
yeah,
very fast paced,
yeah,
and
hmm,
sometimes between two scenes, they have inserted a scene that will happen uh, after some time, like in a premonition kind.
Mm-hmm.
Like this will happen, but
Yeah.
now it won't. So like that, it is not noticeable. But in
Yeah.
many films, editing is the hardest part for me to like
Yeah.
really talk about.
Got it.
Editing is beyond my. I see many people like commenting the editing is bad. I'm like, how? How did you judge the editing?
Yeah.
Explain
I'm like,
how.
the shot is slow.
Yeah.
Oh, as in
It
the
doesn't.
worst, we've discussed this, the worst criticism I've ever heard is the movie is slow. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
don't like get it. I
That is
don't
not a
get it.
criticism. On
That's
this
not a
podcast, we
criticism.
established
Yeah.
that. That is not a
Yeah.
criticism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Uh,
cinematography is basically how the film, the cinematography contributes. If it has any significance to the film,
Yeah.
then the cinematography is very good. Like for
Yeah.
example, like in many films, they have symbolism inserted in the
Mhm.
cinematography.
Yeah, there's a recent film
In
also which has a
Nomadland,
lot
if
of
you see,
symbolism. Anyways,
Sorry,
go.
sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Simon. I was just taking another pot shot at another film
uh,
we discussed recently. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
The Nomadland
like
you were talking about. Yeah.
in Nomadland, the cinematography contributed to the lot of aesthetics of the film.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
nomads. They were living in the outskirts of America, far from
Yeah.
the city,
Yeah.
barren lands. Like how their
Yeah.
lives are also alone,
Hmm.
and the landscape was also complementing them.
Yeah.
Like that, cinematography is very much appreciable.
Yeah.
Other than
Yeah.
that, there are many films that only have pretty cinematography. Unless that, nothing.
Filmstagram cinematography, right?
Oh
Which is
yes,
like,
yes,
Films
yes.
that look good.
Films with good cinematography.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the worst
yeah.
kind. That's the
That's
worst kind.
I think that was someone's criticism of the Green Knight this year. Actually, it's
No, which
very
I
films.
disagree.
I mean, I also, but like that was a criticism. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing it out there. Anyway, Sanjeet, go. What
No,
do you think?
Dhruv, you go ahead. No,
You said
I'll
this
go last.
thrice in this episode, but okay, fine. I will go
It's
ahead
okay.
this time.
You're keeping a count now. What?
Now, yeah, I am. No, no, no. I think honestly, the best way to judge cinematography for me is turn the volume off and look
Hmm.
at the film and how it moves. So
Hmm.
like silent films, of course, is an option.
Yeah.
They just watch those, and again, in those though, you remove the orchestral score entirely. Just watch them like as silent films, and I think you'll
Yeah.
just realize much more how a close-up works, how like where the camera is moving, how much impact there is in
Hmm.
like holding it for this long. I mean, holding it for this long is editing, but never mind.
Hmm.
Cinematography has a lot to do with, I think, just what Simon said about like it. I think the best kind of cinematography works when it's in conjunction or in disruption with what the story of film is about. Like just having a shot
Hmm.
of like a landscape which is like beautiful, I don't think doesn't mean it's well shot.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like cinematography needs to immerse you on its own also, right? Like some of my favorite
Mm-hmm.
cinematography is from Sven Nykvist, and
Nyquist.
for the
Yeah.
Ingmar Bergman
Ingmar. Yeah.
cinematographer. Like I
Yeah.
think the powerful nature of them isn't like landscape cinematography. It's to do with the face and how he like puts the
Hmm.
face front and center, and like
And
that
the face
angle.
becomes the landscape.
Exactly. And it's like how close does the camera need to go for that? How much does it need to swing in some ways? Which is, I think, which also is, and because in film, like cinematography and editing is so linked also, right?
Hmm.
Because the common criticism nowadays with action films is that the quick cutting and sort of camera is sort
Hmm.
of jerky and everything, right? That's a
Yeah.
very common criticism, I think, which is there. And I think what is sort of becoming, and the other extreme is the long oneer, which has become another sort of gimmick
Hmm.
of late. But
Hmm.
it's the same thing of like editing needs to, for me at least, for me, it's a sense of rhythm, pacing, in the
Hmm.
sense that, some films will require a faster cut. I think there's a joy in watching films which sort of know how to move in a certain way. And I think
Hmm.
you all of it will, I think you'll judge it better, I think, if you see a lot of stuff. I think we'll basically in
Actually,
some way
yeah.
transitioning to world cinema in general, but like if you watch different styles of film, you'll realize what editing can do in like different contexts. And I think that's how
Hmm.
you judge it rather than sort of, you can't judge it just in isolation, firstly. And then
Yep.
you have to, like, if you know what slow cinema is, right? If you know
Hmm.
what dynamic sort of kinetic filmmaking or kinetic editing is, if you know
Hmm.
two extremes of it, then you'll also start to notice how classical editing works. How does it,
Hmm.
like, what's it breaking the 180-degree line, and like how people, or like uh,
Hmm.
other
Yep.
filmmakers use it to sort of create disruptions and all that. I have
Hmm.
examples of this later. In another episode I will share. But go ahead, Sanjit. What do you think? You're the
Yeah.
technical dude, right? You are the
No.
cinematographer here. So
No, but I think the best part to judge a film in terms of its cinematography and editing is looking at it very contextually.
yeah,
The best part, the best way to judge it.
yeah,
And now, particularly with cinematography, of how we've been like how people have made it, how we
mhm,
perceive cinematography is if it looks good, right? Which is,
yeah,
I think, the worst way to look at it.
yeah,
Even if you look like at a Safdie movie, right?
mm,
That is probably has one of the best cinematography I've seen in my life, like
yeah.
Uncut Gems and Good Time, and
Good time.
even
Yeah,
their first film, Daddy Long Legs.
mm,
They look grungy, they look grainy, they're
yeah,
shot with long lenses and like shot from far away, but they look beautiful to me
mm,
purely because the film's context is such
mm,
that it just pulls you in. First of
yeah,
all, like they don't have to function separately. Like,
mm,
there's this thing which Dibakar Banerjee said in an interview. So he was watching the cut of his film, Detective Byomkesh Bakshi, and a couple of people in the test screening, they were like, "Oh, we love this shot,"
mm,
and he immediately went and removed those shots. He's like, if they're checking out those shots particularly,
yeah.
then they're out of that experience,
Got it. Yeah,
which makes so much sense, right? Because neither editing or cinematography should function separately. They should
yeah.
function
Uh,
for the film.
I
Yeah,
mean, they can function separately. I think if the filmmaker deliberately wants it
intends
to
to,
be
for
the
sure.
case.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, intends to. But
because even Persona from, again, Bergman, in
hmm,
the
hmm,
Bergman episode,
hmm.
Persona has a very clear instance in which there's a disruption in the film and he makes it very clear. So like all that is working. I think all that is very intentional.
Hmm,
Honestly, if you want to watch like stylistic innovation so that you realize how normal editing and all that works, I would
hmm.
can't believe I'm saying I suggest this, but Jean-Luc Godard's The Image book is the
Hmm.
most weird thing I've seen, and it like completely disobeys the rules of
Yeah,
conventional filmmaking. So I think those kind of give you an idea of what something like this can be,
yeah, yeah,
of
yeah,
what conventional stuff also can be. So I think, yeah, it makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
Also,
yeah,
I also have a point. So,
Bolo.
yeah, yeah. Oh, Simon, you go ahead now. It's okay.
Yeah,
like cinematography wise, I want to say one thing.
Hmm,
yeah.
hmm,
House
hmm.
of Shien's Assassin.
Just
It,
discuss
it,
this.
it,
Yeah,
I can't believe like the whole film was wasted. It was 2 hours something film. It
yeah,
could have been
Uh-huh.
1 hour film.
yeah.
It wasted so much time in looking at pretty shots over the lake and something absurd. I was like, come on, move the camera forward, do something.
Yeah,
I'm not. I want something from this film.
yeah.
I took at least 7 days to complete the film. It was so tiring.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
I
That's good. Yeah,
like even Turin Horse was good. Like I
Hmm.
wasn't feeling tired. I watched Turin
yeah,
Horse like without even sleeping or dozing off.
yeah,
Hmm.
It was the easy watch. But
yeah,
Assassin, even being that wuxia film or action
yeah.
something,
Subversion of a
still
wuxia
it was
film, na?
boring.
Because wuxia mein to is
Hmm.
proper action. This is like still, you said, right? It's just like it doesn't move. So like
Yeah.
it's basically the opposite of it. I've not seen the
Hmm.
Assassin, but yeah, even that's a great
Hmm.
example, the Bellator thing. I mean, I've only seen one
Hmm.
Bellator, right?
Hmm.
I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I completely understand the intention of the slow cinema and like the whole,
Yeah.
the longer takes and like,
Hmm.
everything not moving. It fits contextually also with the film, whatever it's
Yeah.
trying to say. So I get
Hmm.
it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I don't know about that. I can't think of an example in which a film does it very weirdly or something. I'm either
Yeah.
forgetting or something. Go ahead, Sanjeet. You were itching to talk about
No,
cinematography.
I'm not itching. I'm just saying in general, like if
Yeah.
if a film, like I was talking particular to like editing as well.
Yeah.
Um, like one of the most bizarre films, one that best editing award at the Academy Awards couple of years back, which was Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah.
right? And it was personally,
That
I feel now, since it has like that much credibility as an award now, was one of the worst edited films I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like
apart from
genuinely,
Rami Malek, what was
yeah,
good in that film? Apart
nothing,
from
Nothing.
nothing. And
I
even
Nothing.
though I
get the
like Queen,
acting.
I cannot appreciate that movie. I
Yeah.
cannot,
I get that his
because
acting was good and everything, but
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
about editing?
Yeah.
Why
Probably one of
editing?
the, and you know what? And it was like, even though at that point I must have not known as much about editing as much as I know now.
Hmm.
I was looking at the movie, and the film was constantly cutting
Yeah.
in between like characters, one to cut, and I was like, why?
Just stop.
Just stop, because it was so irritating, because I couldn't set my eyes on one character and listen to him
Yeah.
before it. I was settling in. They'll cut to something else, and then they'll cut to something else,
It was
Yeah.
and
very
I
much on the nose.
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't mind like quick editing. Adam McKay does it,
Hmm.
like the classic
Yep.
I
example.
mean,
Hmm.
the extreme of it is Beham, right? Michael
Bayham,
Bay,
yeah. But even
which you
Bayham
don't
has
mind. So yeah, exactly.
not the new. I mind the newer ones, but the older ones I really enjoy, like the
The
earlier
new
editing.
one I heard is like absolutely like a drugged up. Someone like took a camera and like made it have
Oh,
drugs or
Six
something.
Underground.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I've heard it's cut like anything. Like it's like whatever.
Adam
I don't know.
McKay is that big short film, right?
Yeah,
Adam
yeah, yeah,
McKay.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that film. Love
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
film.
yeah.
So I mean, you know how frantically he cuts between
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
things and people. You've seen that style being replicated in shows like Succession also now,
Hmm.
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Which is like that camera just like punches into like
Zooms.
one character. Yeah,
Yeah.
zooms,
Hmm.
like it's like,
Cash zooms almost. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it cuts to, and see that is where editing also works. Like sometime it'll cut to some character's hands who are like, he's like sweating.
Yeah.
So I mean, it all fits well if you do it well, but if it's not done
Yeah.
well, you like
I mean,
no.
this film, yeah, this year, Sardar Udham, like that
Sardar
whole
Udham.
scene, that whole
Yeah.
like if you are taking that whole scene of like the massacre and like firstly
Yeah,
you
yeah,
extend it like that, right? It's like a repetition. वहाँ पे editing, cinematography, all of it comes also, right? You're just like
yeah.
watching something repeat itself so many
And
times,
it's, you're
and you don't
properly
get.
immersed in it.
I told you like the one thing I got from that scene is never a reverse shot of one thing I expected to get a reverse
Yeah.
shot of. Like I
Yeah.
was like 100% he's going to cut to one person's dead body.
The Banita
Yeah,
Sandhu's character.
yeah. And I was like, the absence of that made the scene for me. Like I was just so impressed by
Yeah.
someone not employing that
Hmm.
close up or like that. So it's like
Hmm.
that sort of, that's why cinematography editing also like defines a scene, I
Absolutely.
think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Simon, you were saying something. You wanted to
No,
say something?
no,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, but
It
even
was
like
about Sardar Udham only.
props
Yeah.
to Shujit Sarkar. Props to Shujit Sarkar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Who was grateful
uh,
to listen to our episode of it.
no, but even if you see Piku, which I think mentioned it to you before as well,
Yeah.
to me it is one of the best edited films, Hindi
Yeah, I
films I've
never
seen.
understood that.
Because to me it's like how the energy keeps on flowing.
Got it. Okay.
And another thing which like I'll just name a couple of films where I've loved the editing, even though they've been a part of the whole world. One is Manto.
Oh,
Nandita
you
Das's
like the
movie.
editing in Manto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Purely because how it flows and how it distorts the line. I mean, there's a
Okay.
lot of good acting involved. There's a lot of fluid camera work, but how it knows when it should edit, when it should
Okay.
cut to another
Probably should
person, other
rewatch
perspective.
it then because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have a problem with
definitely.
the. I always thought it was much choppier in terms
No,
of
no, no.
movement between past, present, everything. So,
Amongst Hindi films in the last
yeah.
whatever years, Manto, Piku, and uh, Udham Singh have been probably my favorite edited films I've
Mhm.
seen. And in there's another Tamil movie called Periyarum Perumal. So this director Mari Selvaraj,
Heard of that.
I really like him, and
Yeah.
he's made this movie called Karnan as well very recently, which is something I love as well. So
Yeah.
he also employs this style of fast cutting, which I feel contributes to this thing called the 360 view of the worldview. Which, I mean, he keeps on cutting frantically, but what it does to me is I know the world inside out now. I know what is at the corner of this, at the end of the street. Okay, yeah.
But does it register? Like you, but
It
you
registers because it cuts in so properly. I know
okay.
it's
So
not
it's a
like
very methodical cutting of like
it's a
everything.
methodical cutting. That's the right way
Okay.
to put it. So
Okay.
I love, even Vetrimaran sort of tries to do the same thing. I mean, check out
Yeah.
their films if you haven't.
Yeah.
But I love how they edit, because sometimes what it does is it makes it, even Sarpatta Parambara in the very recent which came out, which is by Paranjit, it somehow makes it very, very tangible for me, because
Got
I
it.
feel I am a part of this world after a point. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, that's about editing.
Yep.
If I have to give my favorite films, edited films, it
Yeah,
has
yeah,
to
yeah.
be. I spoke about it in the beginning. Easy Rider. I can't
Easy
get
Rider,
over
yeah.
this film.
Yeah.
There's one scene where they consume LSD inside a cemetery.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That scene is probably the best example of how not to take drugs. The way it's shot is very haunting.
Got it.
They are getting panic attacks, and it was it's a fact that they consume drugs, real drugs in that film. Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, that was the
also they
Dennis
were
Hopper
having
though is infamous for a lot of other movies. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
so that scene has the frantic cut that you were talking, Sanjeev was talking about.
Yeah.
Very frantic cuts. Like
Yep.
the camera won't settle. It cuts
Yep.
to one scene from Dennis Hopper laughing. Then again, in inside a second, like it will cut to Peter Fonda crying. It's very frantic, and the whole scene becomes a nightmare to
Yep.
witness. Like they are breaking down, and
Mhm.
also that future foreshadowing thing also happening. Like what would happen in future. There's a bike fallen. Their bike has been fallen. Their bodies are lying. Something would happen at last, but it was
Got it.
foreshadowed at the beginning. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
I mean, that with I
All,
think it's just if someone wants to like know how good like fast cutting is done, then montage or whatever
Montage.
that Soviet montage, right?
oh,
Soviet
It's
how
montage.
can
the
we
Yeah,
miss
yeah, yeah.
that? Yes.
Yeah,
man
yeah.
with the movie
Battleship
camera
Oh,
is
man,
like
with the movie
one of
camera. Yeah, I was going to say the
yeah
same.
is
Battleship
Podovkin, is it?
Odessa's step sequence.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah,
I
yeah.
mean, if you want to take how it inspired the right kind of directors, I mean, see, also this is another one of my things. I feel if you want to be a good director, you have to be a very good editor.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yep.
good if you like the good directors know how to edit. Like they have to be good at very
Yes,
good
yes.
at
Yeah,
editing.
I mean, whole
De Palma,
pacing rhythm of it all works
exactly,
because of that,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look at De Palma, man. Like he's like the master, like after like the true blue successor of Hitchcock in every way
Yeah.
possible. And he knows how to edit. He knows, because like he did the same step sequence in his other movie called The Untouchables with who's that guy? The I forgot his name. Waterworld.
Oh, Kevin
Uh,
Costner.
Kevin Costner's there in it. There's
Yeah.
Sean Connery in it, and that sequence is masterful. And then I
Yeah.
went and watched Potemkin as well, which I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, okay. Yeah, before we move on to another
I
question,
was
just
blown away by Battleship Potemkin.
Yep.
yeah. Before we move on to another
That
question,
think
just
sequence
wanted
was
to say
Yep.
Roger Deakins is not the only cinematographer.
I think
no.
but I think everyone's kind of craved for him to win the Oscar, and now everyone's kind of like, okay, now moving on to like, because it wasn't there a phase where everyone was obsessed with Chivo.
Oh yeah, until he won
uh,
it for The Revenant. Post that
he
he's
was
been
won three,
three on the row. Yeah.
and none of them for a
Gravity,
Terrence Malick
Birdman.
film. Shocking.
How Tree of Life didn't won a one. It won
Exactly.
nothing. Basically,
Yeah, it won
nothing.
nothing.
It was such a
Who
great
won
film.
that year though?
Oh, that was
Hugo.
the
Hugo.
I forgot.
2012.
11, 12, right? I
11?
forgot.
Hugo
11, 12,
won, I
yeah.
think, for best cinematography.
Which
Who?
one?
Who?
Hugo.
Hugo,
Oh,
Martin Scorsese film.
worth it. Yeah.
Hey, sir, you relax,
Bob
okay?
Richardson.
They created a whole new language together, Malik and Chivo, with
Arey,
their
I mean,
films or collaborations.
no
That
denying,
heaven,
man. No
Yeah,
denying.
the Jessica Chastain when she
Robert
goes
Richardson,
to
yeah.
heaven, like the
yeah.
camera focuses
The
from the behind. That
yeah,
that sequence outshines any film nominated that year.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised it
Robert
didn't win anything.
Richardson is really good, yeah.
But I'm just making a case for my man. Like not my man is not Chivo. My man is Terrence. Anyways,
Be
I
thankful
thought
I'm not talking about RGV Dutch angles or whatever he thinks Dutch angles are.
Weird camera placement, Ram
Yeah.
Gopal
some
Verma.
other place only places the camera.
Under someone's crotch, inside someone's cup of tea.
Jesus Christ. But see, sometimes a lot of that, like there was a film recently, I forgot, but that had like weird camera placements or somewhere. But I was like, that's interesting. At least weird camera placements are like if the film is boring, at least camera placements can like wake you up from a boring
Yeah.
film sometimes. But like, yeah,
Sure.
if something is badly edited, I think that's hard to salvage.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, last film, I really want
Yeah.
to talk about this. Has
Go
anyone
ahead.
seen Daisies here? Daisies.
No,
I've
It's a
I
Czech
haven't.
no,
film.
no.
It's a Vera Kitlova film. Like it's about two girls causing rampage in the press, in the Czech society.
Okay.
They bribe. They kind of honey trap wealthy males, and they take all their cash and they rent a hotel. They play with food items and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
That film also has like bonkers editing.
got it.
One
Okay.
scene is there where they are lying in the table and the
Yeah,
chandelier is falling over them. It's
yeah.
gradually falling. Then it cuts to an atomic bomb blast.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Wow.
This,
So this is Daisies.
daisies.
So the editing is
Uh,
much more like montage inspired than that way, like
Yes,
just
yes, yes.
put different
It's
stuff
very
like
much.
that.
Sometimes it will feel very amateurish because
Yeah,
you can see in some scenes like only the head is moving around. There's no
yeah.
body scene.
hmm.
Only the
Okay.
head is moving around.
Yeah,
Is
It's
it
a
the
realistic film.
1966 movie?
Yes,
Vera Kitlova.
1960s movie.
yeah,
Kitilova. Okay. Got it. So that is a very good
We will
recommendation for us.
yeah.
we'll talk
I
about
mean,
that
I'm
in
keeping a
the
note of
world.
what all recommendations are there, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. And
Sounds
I have
crazy.
made a note about that. What recommendations I will give.
But
don't worry,
yeah.
we have also made a note of whatever movies you tell us because it's like a never-ending list because you watched like
Yep.
all kinds of stuff, which is a
Yep.
good thing. Anyways, so the next, I don't know how long this question is. Yeah, I'm just going to try and do justice to what this guy is trying to say. Cinema.viz. So I've been
Hmm.
reading, right? Just the pretentiousness of some critics that give a meaning to random clips put together. Does it ever occur to you that few of them are just random stuff that doesn't really have a meaning? And after
Hmm.
that, there's wait, and they just go with the most popular fan theory anyone has made around their work. Sometimes it feels like the avant-garde directors are just effing around without any clear. I don't know what to answer as a question. I don't think there's a question here, but I guess
It's
the
an
bigger
opinion
thing,
basically. It's like
yeah,
an
but
opinion.
I guess it raises the question of like, are critics kind of just so into sort of the
Pretentiousness.
avant, yeah, are critics pretentious? I would say, yeah, I think so. I mean, I can say I am fairly pretentious sometimes, but like and I'm not a critic, but I want to be one. But I think pretentiousness just comes from, I always think like I like the thing that's pretentious to me is when I can clearly see what the person is trying to do or like trying to say,
Yes.
Hmm.
but it's actually never as clear to them themselves
Hmm.
how much or what they're
Hmm.
trying to say. Like that's pretentiousness for me, not like the image, like it doesn't matter if it's a normal image and the critic can take out
Hmm.
some meaning out of it, I think. Like if a
Hmm.
director makes something, whatever, throw away, right? But I see it and I think there's something of value in it. I think it's
Yeah.
a fair thing to put out my opinion
Uh,
about it.
But
That's what critics do actually.
Yeah.
If they understand something, they will enlighten the public.
Yeah.
exactly.
And if you don't
And
understand, that's your problem,
sorry.
basically.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I've been interrupting. Sorry.
No, but I think understanding, like if you can understand it and articulate it properly, I think it's fine. It doesn't matter if
Yes.
the other person agrees with that interpretation or not. Like that,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
Absolutely.
getting
Yes.
worked up about all this is a bit like it doesn't make a difference. Like
Hmm.
avant-garde stuff. See, the thing is, if some critic won't come and interpret it, no one will watch the avant-garde stuff. Like at least give them
Exactly.
the sort of
Yeah.
they'll take out the
Also,
meaning. If you're getting pissed, then leave it.
that's why they are called avant-garde, because
Yeah,
they are separated from the mainstream ways of
Yeah.
yeah,
filmmaking. That's
yeah,
why
Yeah.
the filmmaker's intention is to make something random and
yeah.
make sense out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Jean-Luc
And
Uh,
critics
Godard.
are there to interpret.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Critics are
And
there to
listen,
interpret.
exactly like I can see something which is made by like Jean-Luc Godard, who's become kind of mad right
Hmm.
now. Like he's become crazier as the years have gone by.
Smoking
Yeah,
cigars everywhere.
I mean, good for to be honest, good for me because I don't like I think as far as he goes away from narrative, I kind of like him more. But no, but the other guy is Peter Czekaresky. I don't know how to pronounce his second name, but he's made two films which I absolutely love. Right? It's called
Mm.
Dreamwork and Outer Space, which I've seen. Both of them were on movie or are on movie. So
Yeah.
sponsors, and so the point is more to do with the fact that I can find meaning in them depending on how much I know about cinema or how much I don't know. Right? I just
Mm-hmm.
think the pretentious claim is so baseless. It's just
Mm.
like too easy a word to just throw around. I think it's also like that way. So, but you were saying something, Sanjeet, which
No.
about like
Uh,
contesting it.
no. What I've been so here's what I think. Most of the things that critics sort of interpret, right?
Hmm.
And it's more like sometimes we as an audience staying from a little far away, uh, not being a critic, not being a maker, we think the critic is being pretentious, right? By interpreting certain things.
Yeah,
But some of those certain things are actually not accidental.
yeah,
They are put in by those filmmakers. I mean, there's a lot of thought that goes into putting a
yeah.
sound in a scene. Like very recently, I was just like look at Goodfellas, for example.
Hmm.
The scene where this guy Henry Hill goes and beats up that guy when Lauren Bracco's character tells him that guy was like
Mhm.
harassing me or whatever. He just goes and just isolate that scene now
Yeah,
completely, and watch the scene from the beginning till the end,
Hmm.
and just listen to the sound.
yeah,
Just listen to the sound. uh, you know how it's all done. Everything is intentional. Everything is
Hmm.
intentional.
yeah,
uh, in the background, there are all suburb sounds. What all suburb sounds do you associate with? It's silent. There must be dogs barking,
yeah,
someone is mowing their grass and everything. And just listen to it.
Hmm.
There's a parallel story going on in the background.
yeah,
It's so well done, and
yeah,
everything is intentional. This cannot be accidental. Someone in the sound design studio was sitting,
yeah,
thought, okay, how do I make it more interesting? How do,
yeah,
because suburbs you relate to it as more peaceful, right? And here's this
yeah,
guy who goes and beats the other guy with his gun.
yeah,
It makes it more threatening. It makes it more dreadful in a
Hmm.
way. So
yeah,
all of this is intentional. This is not someone. If someone
yeah.
is sitting there and interpreting all of this, it's not being pretentious because this was all intentional.
Like the director isn't insane to do all this
Yeah.
metaphorical things. He knows what he is doing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there
yeah,
I
yeah,
must
mean,
be something behind that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
think if it's accidental, also it's fine if the person interprets it any way they want. Like I don't think there's
Yes.
Exactly.
a problem with it. I think
Hmm.
but what sometimes happens is like filmmakers don't realize, but they produce meaning or like they produce
Exactly.
bad meaning,
And
right?
that is probably the best part about filmmaking, because some
Yeah,
things happen by accident
yeah.
and they're probably the best part about the film.
I mean, I don't know if people are aware of like I'm pretty sure they're aware, but I don't know if they've seen Room 237 on The Shining, the documentary where people
Oh,
have
okay,
like
okay, yeah,
opinions about The Shining. People like
yeah,
interpret Shining as like allegory about the native
yeah.
Indian land and like about
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Kubrick faking the moon landing. It's absurd, some of it, right? But
But
it's like
it makes it so
funny at
interesting
least.
also though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
funny,
just like,
interesting, whatever.
it's almost funny in some cases. Like someone says that they can see the head of Stanley Kubrick on like the clouds in the sky. I'm like, really? You
That's
can see
stupid.
that?
That's
Yeah,
stupid.
But even with
yeah,
like Eyes Wide Shut or Clockwork Orange or 2001, every
yeah. I
film is
mean
open to so much
that. So,
interpretation.
and I mean some of the stupid stuff. You're just like, of course you can't. It's just whatever. But like,
Hmm.
if you're talking about like, if it's about him faking the moon Apollo landings or whatever, but they have like
Yeah.
they got some evidence to back it up. I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, I mean, go for it. Like, go for it doesn't like make your interpretation. I have no problem with it. It's a bit absurd, but sure. Uh, but yeah, just not to get worked up about it, I think is the best way of
Yeah, working up,
illustrating
don't get worked up about
it.
things, because I
Allow
think that
opinions
is
to
the,
exist, right? Allow
yeah,
opinions to exist.
destructive way of looking at things. But yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead. Hmm.
especially from a criticism point of view, I think. Yeah. Anyways, so the next question we have is, other than Danish, there's no name here, right? So other than Danish dogmatism rules, are there ways still a movie can be made without superficial tools?
Hmm.
So
So for
He's
people who don't
referring to
know,
like how dogma films were made.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. First, like explain what dogma films are to listeners, so
yeah.
that they have an understanding.
You go, Sanjeev. What are you saying? Explain.
I mean, so I have not seen a lot of dogma movies from the 90s
Yeah.
and whatever Lars von Trier. I've seen Perfect Human, which Lars von Trier did, like the 5 things that he wanted to do, like with the Jorgen Leth, right? If I'm not wrong. It was a challenge amongst them to make films with obstructions and everything,
The
right?
5 obstructions is the film, right? Also something. Yeah.
5 obstructions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't have to have like certain things. I mean, there are like a set of rules in Dogma 95. You only have to go handheld. You have to shoot in real
Manifesto
location.
only it is. It's like
It's a manifesto. It's a manifesto. I don't remember the rules.
There were
Yeah.
I
10
think
rules.
Simon knows it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Simon. Do you know like the specific? I don't think we need to go through all the 10.
No. But just give like an idea of what they were.
So like dogma have, let me go very back, like very from the start.
Yeah.
Because one
Okay.
Sunday afternoon, they were Lars von Trier and Winterberg. They were
Yeah.
just enjoying whiskey, and they were like, "Let's do one thing. Let's start a film movement
Yeah.
where we strip down everything that's available to a filmmaker,
Yeah.
from a good camera quality to sound design, everything. We just strip it down and just keep it simple, like the purest form of filmmaking they wanted to do.
Hmm.
Like you can't add any extra light. You
Yeah.
can't name yourself. You can't credit yourself as a director. Directed by. You can't do that.
Hmm.
Then your film must be made now. Like it can't be a period film or a space fiction. It can't be like that. And it will only be a drama. Like only characters talking.
Yeah.
Basically, can't be a romantic film. Can't be a gang. Mafia film, nothing. It would just be a simple drama where people are just talking. But the irony is nobody followed all these trends.
I was about
Nobody
to
followed
say,
the 24 films they made.
I was about to
None of
say,
them
have you
followed.
seen Lars von Trier films? Late.
Lars von Trier made, I think, 1 or 2 dogma films.
Yeah.
Winterberg made 1, and
Yeah.
other than it
Yeah.
was by Suzanne Bier 1.
Yeah.
Harmony Korine made 1, and like that.
Yeah.
Harmony
Those-
Korine made.
Julian Donkey Boy.
Oh, that was a Dogma 90.
That's
Yes,
trash
yes.
cinema, no? Whatever it's called. Like, that's another
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
That's another
That
thing.
was
Yeah.
Harmony Korine's private land, what he does in his films. That's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
His films are hard to watch.
Gummore, Beach Bum.
Also, he
Yeah.
wrote that Larry Clark film, Kids.
Yeah.
That's
I've not
atrocity.
seen.
Yeah.
Oh
Can
my
you-
God,
but
wow.
very,
That's torture.
very understandable that how many Korean wrote it.
So yeah, according to the question, other than Danish dogmatism rules, are there ways still a movie can be made without superficial tools? Do you know? I am unknown.
Well, they made before that, before Dogma,
Yeah.
there was direct cinema, which
Okay.
had no such use of superficial elements.
But
Then we
can
had
you also
Jim Jarmusch.
define what are superficial elements?
superficial elements like adding background score in a film.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes it superficial in a point. If you have seen Preston by Winterberg, that was like it had sounds. It has camera angles from very bizarre point of view.
Yeah.
Then it was kind of candid, very much intimate with the viewers and the director.
Yeah.
It was very much close and raw. That's basically now we don't see Danish films like that. They are they have become much more polished. So that's basically what Winterberg and Bong Cinephile didn't wanted the films to be. They wanted a very pure form of.
Probably succeeded considering a couple of them look like absolute trash, like in terms of aesthetics.
Yes, they are like 240 pixel films.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Even like some films which are great from like Lars von Trier look absolutely terrible now. Like Dance in the Dark.
He has a film.
Dancer in the Dark.
Yeah.
Idiots look absolutely worse. The picture quality.
Yeah. So
there were before that there were two film movements: no wave cinema and direct cinema. They were like pretty much stripped off every artificial elements in a film. No wave was by Jim Jarmusch. He was one of them. He made Changes in Paradise, I think. It was a no wave film. So by these two methods, they were making films without superficial tools.
Yeah. But this, I mean, the main one is this. No, I think the Soviets, they had a manifesto also.
Yeah, I think so.
Montage.
Yeah.
Montage also had a manifesto.
Yeah. They had like a proper manifesto and everything. So they were just like everything is edited, like cinema equals editing, nothing else, which is a bit of a reductive way to look at things, I think. But yeah, they were the first ones, I think. Though what I've realized honestly with all this is that the whole people create movements in cinemas if they have these types of beliefs. So like if they have like these strong opinions, right, about stuff, that's how you, I guess, create something revolutionary. Like as someone who's like looking at it from the outside, I find a lot of them a bit too much. Like cinema equals editing, I think is absolutely not true. Cinema is a lot of editing or like whatever, it's a lot dependent on it, it's fine, but equal is like a different thing. So I think, but I think all these things are like are integral in understanding cinema more than like, films right now nowadays can actually maybe do with something like it in a weird way. Like a movement in which, someone is so like slow cinema in some senses is that. Like it's, the lack of cutting or like whatever to make time sort of stay on the screen or something like that. Like I would think stuff like that is maybe there to innovate and like renovate cinema, if that makes sense. That's about it.
Moving on.
Okay. Moving on is yes. I Mattis boy asks, do you think after the digital revolution we will lead to the Indian cinema wave, Indian
new wave in cinema?
Yeah.
In short, no. In long, you guys answer.
No, but it's true though. I think no is the correct answer.
Yeah.
We have good films coming out, but it's very far from like a film movement that will capture the whole country. We have, I guess, 3 filmmakers, if I can pinpoint: Chaitanya Tamhane, Lijo Jose Pellisseri, and Aditya Vikram Sengupta. These 3
yeah. Absolutely agree. Yeah.
But it's like too sparse, no? I mean, we had discussed this before, where like Disciple
too sporadic,
Netflix, even though it is on Netflix, right? Even Jonaki is on Netflix, I think.
Yes,
Jonaki is on Netflix.
Podcast,
Yes, and Asha Jha aur Majhe is on Prime. But how many people have watched it?
Exactly. Yeah. So.
No, but then also it's the fact, right? All the corporates have sort of entered the OTT space now, so it's them guiding again the space.
There was another news that Mike Lee wasn't finding
funding.
Any fund for it.
That is why go to cinema to watch movies.
Mike Lee has all my love.
Obviously.
I can't give him money, but he has my love. I love him.
He can crowdfund it like how Rajat Kapoor did it.
Probably, yeah. Oh, no, but he probably wants to make some historical epic. He's a lot of historical epics for some reason. Should just stick to like people and dramas in general. Great.
Yeah.
But the next question, the second last question, is from AXSH._04.
Oh, he's okay. He's the all about cinema on Instagram.
Yes, I know him. I know him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is, apart from the Bong Cinephile, what are your favorite music albums of all time? Sanjeev, take over.
Go ahead, you musicophile. I don't know what the equivalent is.
I have honestly, my music expertise was now though I don't listen in general except for soundtracks, like film soundtracks.
Oh yeah, see, more or less.
Film soundtracks I listen to a lot. I don't listen to music outside of that.
Let's recommend film soundtrack.
Film soundtrack. No, I was saying before that
anything by Johnny Greenwood.
Music. So now I don't. But like earlier I used to listen to. But
what
film soundtracks, I listen to Daniel Hart's soundtrack for a lot of things. So anything he's made actually, like The Green Knight, I think has a great soundtrack. I think what's the other one? A Ghost Story has one of my favorite soundtracks.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer is an obvious one, but I think the one track of his that I love is from The Thin Red Line. Journey to the Line, it's called. It's fantastic. It's used in the X-Men trailer apparently, of Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard like a couple of indie artists only, like not I don't know if they are indie anymore. I don't know. But do you know about Lifafa and Peter Cat Recording Company? I think they're pretty famous now. Like when I used to listen to them, they were pretty obscure at the time. So I think I love their Lifafa's new album, which is Revolution 2020? What? Something like that.
Okay.
Lovely songs. I don't know if that's a very different style of music.
Okay.
Superpower 2020.
Sorry?
Superpower 2020.
Superpower 2020, not Revolution 2020. But some of the tracks are really good. Like Man Ki Baat, Achhe Din and all of that. I mean, I love that. And even in Prabdeep's Tabia, if you've heard, if you like listening to like good rap, like with good lyrics, then probably try Prabdeep.
And sorry, this is going to be a Johnny Greenwood here, right? So Johnny Greenwood.
Johnny Greenwood.
Spencer soundtrack is great.
But wait till you also listen to the Power of the Dog soundtrack. Yeah. That's
I'm very excited.
Yeah. One of the tracks in You Were Never Really Here is always stuck in my head. The Tree Strings.
Tree Strings, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I know.
Soundtrack, I think.
It's always stuck with me, yeah.
But like three soundtracks that I'm very fond of.
Yeah.
Is first a Pablo Larraín film, Ima. Scored by Nicolas Jarre. I completely adore the soundtrack. That was the only thing I liked in the film, in the first one. That was the only thing I liked.
Yeah.
Just because the soundtrack is like the backbone of the film. Like they dance, the soundtrack runs in the background. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Then I have this Derek Jarman film called The Garden, scored by Simon Fisher Turner.
Okay.
It's basically a symphony about life and death. You have this Judas selling you credit cards. Like it's very absurd, but it's very grounded. Tilda Swinton plays Mother Eve or something like that. Tilda Swinton. It's a great film to watch. Again, a very offbeat.
Good recommendation.
Film. Then the last is the very latest film. I haven't seen the film yet, but the soundtrack is brilliant.
Which one?
District 13. Paris District 13 by Jacques Audiard.
I haven't seen it, but I know about it. Yeah. But no, I haven't.
No.
I'm very looking forward to it.
He'll be the first one to watch it. Sanjeev,
yes,
considering he's in foreign lands.
So incidentally, this film won the best soundtrack at Cannes this year, alongside Annette. So it's beautifully scored. Ron is my favorite one of my favorite artists. So I like this a lot. Like my favorite of this year.
Yeah.
I love Nicolas Britell as well. Like if Beale Street could talk.
Nicolas, I'm listening to him now.
I forgot Max Richter is one of my favorites. Also.
Max Richter, yeah.
A rival
Even
soundtrack.
even Justin Hurwitz, First Man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really like. I mean, my personal favorite, but
Yeah, I
that's
knew my Ad Astra is Max Richter.
Ad Astra.
Is Max Richter. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So that's our last question, which is
Finally.
about Guru, which is by Guru Simran _ Sidhu, who sent a question last time also. Yeah.
Thank you, Gursimran.
Yes. What is one major thing you like about Mindhunter, and can you suggest some more shows like it? Simon hasn't seen Mindhunter, right?
No.
So I mean,
watch it, Simon. It's fantastic.
Dhruv, you tell.
Web series take way more time. That's why I don't watch.
Yeah. No, I agree. But this is one show that
You should really watch.
I
watch it slowly. It doesn't matter, but it's.
I watch Sharp Objects, then Mindhunter.
Oh yeah, Sharp Objects is good. Very good.
I think Sharp Objects is like a good recommendation if you like Mindhunter, I feel.
Yeah. More psychological as in like more personal, I think.
More subjective in that sense. Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about Mindhunter, Sanjeet?
I love that show. Easily amongst my top 5.
What is the one thing you like about it?
So I think the best part is how Fincher directs. I mean, it's probably the most immersive thing ever. Like, how do you make just two people talking so interesting?
Yeah.
And the thing is, so after I watched Mindhunter, I was almost obsessing over it, and I saw the making and all of it.
Yeah.
And the lead actor, I don't know his name.
I've forgotten. Lead actor in the first season, right?
No, in both the seasons, the same guy.
Second season is not. He's not lead.
I mean, the younger guy. I forgot his name completely. So he was telling before his audition, he was just instructed to read out his lines without using his eyebrows, without moving his eyebrows. And he was like, what is this bizarre thing that you're telling me to do? And he's like, the person who was taking his audition, his casting agent, he was like, Fincher doesn't like people moving their eyebrows while talking. And I was like, shit. And I went back and checked out all these episodes, and none of them move their eyebrows. It's like just like simple straight talking. I'm just doing like people can't see what I'm doing right now. But it's like, but it makes so much sense, because whenever it's like just two people talking, and you get so immersed in whatever they're talking about, and suddenly something moves and you move with them. And that is something very good Fincher does. Like the whole, I mean, you must have seen how he moves his camera also
that's one of the videos now from every
every frame of painting, I think so. But I mean, even not just the camera, it's the actors as well. Their movement is very
in sync, right, with the camera.
In sync with everything that is happening, even the edit. So that is why
he's mad, no, in that terms. He's a perfect.
Some 100 takes of just someone throwing laptops. But works. What about you?
I mean, I never watch. See, I generally don't watch making ofs just because I think it's like I want to keep my sort of.
I know what you're saying.
But I just love how the show switches perspectives from season 1 to season 2. Like what my thing about the whole main characters.
Mindhunter is about what? Like it's
criminal profiling, or the beginning
criminal
of
profiling.
profiling.
Yeah.
So like it's like basically like this start of it, right? So basically like how one does psychosis of people and like it catches them as serial killers and everything. So I think the first season is much. So I think that's why I kind of like the second season more, because it kind of turns it around a little bit. It complicates the whole
narrative and everything.
Even I don't want to spoil it because Simon hasn't seen it, but the perspective shift.
No, you can. Basically.
No. Let's not.
Better not to. It's also because it has a great. Whenever you decide to watch it, I think it's a great change in perspective that happens in the second.
Definitely.
And it frames a lot of characters very differently. So I love that aspect of it. And going along like similar lines, a show like this.
True Detective.
Yeah, True Detective is there, but I think that everyone has seen. Trying to think of like other stuff that. It's not like this because this is not as humorous. This is pretty dead on, like serious stuff. But I think it's hard to decide. Actually, there's nothing really.
I've seen, like, there's nothing like it because it's like a direct descendant of the film Zodiac, I feel.
Yeah, Zodiac.
But
Zodiac.
but if I really had to pick something out, I've seen only one season of this show. It's called The Hannibal.
Hannibal. Okay. I've not
I've
seen.
seen only one season. I like it though, but I never just got myself to watch the second season again. Like, because I don't binge, so I never started the second season. So I've never. But the first season, I feel it may somehow fit in as a recommendation if you like Mindhunter.
Got it.
Hannibal you can watch.
Hmm.
I don't know about anything else. Sharp Objects also I feel you can definitely
Yeah,
watch.
it's a similar, not a similar tonality. I think it's much more twisted in a sense. Sharp Objects.
Yeah.
But
It's more more physical, I feel. I don't know.
yeah, like I think a lot of things like Mindhunter is not. It is Zodiac. Basically, if you've seen Zodiac, you know what it's about. It's not about the murders and everything that much. It's more about people trying to kind of understand stuff from it and their obsessions for it. Right. So I don't think there's anything. I'll just throw this recommendation because I love the show and not many people watched it, so they cancelled it. It's called American Vandal. It's on Netflix itself.
Oh, I watched the first season. You only recommended it to me.
Yeah, I know. But that's one other person who watched it. Not many people watched it.
Really good show.
That's a very interesting way. Like, what I was talking about, perspectives and how they switch perspectives. And so Vandal is a lot to do with switching genres and perspectives almost. It's like,
documentary though, right?
It's a documentary, but I think it goes into a direction which is much more serious than you think it is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At least.
For sure. I agree.
Which I think is like the connective thing between these two. Otherwise, there's no like connection as if. It's more like an investigation only, but it's questioning what the investigation does to the people themselves.
But it's fun. It's really fun.
It's very good. American Vandal. And it's short, just to tell people. Like it's
really short.
Episodes 20 minutes.
25 minutes?
Yeah.
20 minutes, I don't remember. I think 25 minutes. Whatever, yeah. Watch it.
2 seasons, yeah. And they cancelled it. Cruel people.
I didn't know it was cancelled, but anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
are we done with the questions?
We are.
Yes.
What was the?
Wait.
No, I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, that was a lovely Q&A episode. So, but we didn't realize we were going to do a 2-parter until we got in the middle of recording this. So the episode with Simon will be a 2-parter. This is the Q&A, and the next episode will be talking about World Cinema 101, where we talk about more personal stories and how we got into world cinema. So please check that out as well. Thank you so much for sending all the questions.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you so much. We enjoyed answering them.
Yeah.
I hope you share it with other people who love listening about films or talking about films. You can DM us any of your suggestions if you want to on Instagram.
I've gotten a DM of one suggestion. Do you want to do an episode on this movie? It's called Winter Sleep. I have to rewatch it.
Oh yeah, I don't mind. We can.
Ceylon film, right?
Yeah. Ceylon film, 3.5 hours long.
Sure. I don't mind.
At least keep a straight face while saying it.
No, but yeah.
The main problem for me is downloading a 3.5-hour film.
That's the problem.
My main problem.
For me, it's sitting down and watching it.
Same.
Yeah.
3.5 hours. I have watched an 8-hour documentary about Czech New Wave with like the 15 minutes.
Oh, is it the Shivendra Singh Dungarpur movie? Is it that?
Yes.
Yeah, I know about it.
I think the 8 hours is more palatable to me. Like I can, because you have that 4-hour gap and then you put yourself in that frame of mind. 3.5 hours is like you have to sit for 3.5. So it's like, okay, should I sit down right now to watch? Anyways, Winter Sleep, Sanjeet, next episode. Done,
sir.
Next Ceylon episode.
Somewhere in the future. Let's not say next episode.
Next episode,
Yeah. So you can follow us on Instagram at queensdead.filmpodcast. DM us suggestions or any changes or anything that you'd like us to talk about, any films or any shows. You can follow Dhruv, or you can follow Simon on his Instagram handle, the Bong Cinephile, the Bong Cinephile on Instagram.
What is it again, Sanjeev? The handle?
The Bong Cinephile. Why? What?
Okay, no. Nothing. Go ahead.
But you can check out his Instagram page for a lot of great posts about cinema movements, and about films. They are very in depth, so you can read them. They make
Yeah.
for a very good
He's
read.
only wrong about a couple of films when we've let him. Otherwise, he's right.
But yeah, like check him out for sure. The link will also be in the description. Also, make sure to check out the next episode with him as well, where we talk about world cinema. You can follow Dhruv at a Terminal Cinema. You can follow me at Pixel Baba if you want to. But yeah, thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for the questions. Please share it. It really helps us a lot. Follow us on Spotify. I'm done. Thank you. Khatam.
Thank you.
One has to begin to, I think, reach younger people at an earlier age for that to shape their minds in a critical way of looking at these images and what they mean and how to interpret imagery. And I think in a more official way, I think, than just punching up on a computer or seeing something on a TV commercial or something like that. I think you really need to know. You need to know how ideas and emotions are expressed through a visual form. Now that form could be video, or film. It probably eventually would be digital video for a long time to come. But it still has the same rules, and it still has the same vocabulary, and it still has the same grammar, I should say. Really, the same grammar. And the grammar is panning left and right, tracking in or out, booming up and down, intercutting a certain way, the use of a close-up as opposed to a medium shot. What is a medium shot? What is a long shot? All these sort of things, and how do you use all these elements and the different kinds of lighting, and how you use all these elements to make an emotional and psychological point to an audience. And I think we have to begin to teach our younger people how to use this very powerful tool, because we know film, the image can be so strong for not only for good use, but also for bad use. Look at World War II, and look at the films that were made in Germany. Look at the great director, Leni Riefenstahl. Look at her Triumph of the Will, and how that really, the extraordinary ability she had as a filmmaker, how that helped shape the policies of the Third Reich. And of course, we know what that led to. And so film is very powerful. Images are very powerful, I should say, and we have to begin to teach younger people how to use them, and and at least to begin to understand, to interpret them.